Everyone, welcome to another video from Views from the Stands. Your host is here, Gunner, and we got a juicy one for you as always. But before we get into the details of our episode, uh, as always, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you have subscribed, please make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're commenting. I want to hear you guys' feedback on what you guys do. But obviously, most important, let people know, let them subscribe, and then we can continue to give you more content. We're going to be talking about the best of June for MLB, and very excited to talk about this one. And before we get into really the storylines, best hitters, best pitchers, and best teams, I wanted to talk about July 1st Day, and it's really technically Bobby Bonilla Day. It has a history of deferral money and contracts, and so Bobby Bonilla gets $1.19 million from the Mets. That continues until 2035. We also have other players, not just him, right? We have Chris Davis, $9.16 million from the Orioles up until 2037. Hit different installments in different years, but essentially as of right now, 9.16. Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals. He's still playing, by the way. $15 million, for 2028. $3.59 million from the Reds. It's his last installment, so we will not see this next year. And then Manny Ramirez, $1.96 million from the Red Sox, 2026. Thought it'd be cool to kind of start that off and rile out some numbers and let you guys know what's going on July 1st, the big day in MLB, they say sometimes. But to recap the storylines for the past episode going into June, right? And so the first storyline was, how will the Braves look without Acuna? And they're playing 500 ball, right? They're 17-16 since May 26th. They're 8 games back right now against the Phillies, and so not, in my opinion, not doing great. So be very interesting what they'll do, and I don't want to talk too much because obviously they kind of go into my storyline for July, but not ideal. I think if you're a Braves fan, 30 days later. Next storyline was kind of a recap of the division leaders and kind of saying who would still lead after the fact, right? And I gotta say, kind of was what we expected for the most part. So in the American League first, we'll talk about the Yankees. So that they were leading the division. They are tied in the division technically with the Orioles. So you can still put a check mark there. And then the Guardians and Mariners, they were leading going into June. They are now leading going into July. No changes there. And then really the Nationals, it's the same as well. Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies, they all have a still hold the lead and are pushing through. So nothing really changes in the storyline the past 30 days. Obviously, you never know what can happen in a month, but nothing dramatic affected these clubs. And then lastly, in our storyline, before we get really into the month of June, guys, is will the top 5 best odds teams stay the same? And they essentially did. The odds are different now, but basically the Dodgers now plus 320 versus plus 260, so they're actually going a little bit higher. Yankees are plus 470 now versus plus 500, so they're going down. Phillies are plus 480 versus plus 700, so there's a lot of movement there. Braves are now plus 850. They're 800, so they're going up. And then the Orioles at plus 950. They were at plus 1,000. So definitely some movement, as you can expect. They're not going to really stay the same. The books and Vegas, they're smart out there. But let's get into the best hitters, guys. So the first hitter we're going to talk about here is Aaron Judge. The guy hit 409 in the month of June, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. He actually stole a base 3 times. Had 26 Ks over 16 walks, so isn't too bad. I think you're going to expect more Ks than walks with Aaron Judge and just in general with players out in the MLB. But at least he's seeing the ball and able to work count still. So He is the number one guy of the best hitters, and he was on last month as well, so he is definitely on a tear. Next guy we're going to talk about, and this is my guy right here. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson, man, he is the second guy of our best hitters. 342 average, 8 home runs, 17 RBI, 6 stolen bases, 17 walks, OPS of 1,000, over 1,000. So I mean, he's hitting the ball and hitting it hard. He's one of the front runners for the AL MVP. Obviously, there's a lot more to happen, with Aaron Judge and some of these other players, but he's killing it. And if you haven't heard as well, he is announced for the home run derby. So I'm definitely putting my money on him going into the home run derby. So next guy we're going to talk about here is man. I mean, he is really killing and this opportunity of playing every day, right? 360 average, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, hitting over have a OPS. So I mean, slugging 636, right? I mean, this kid is man. It's great to see him. He's very high prospect, and now he can use all his tools to play every day, man. So kudos to him. Next guy we're going to talk about is always Shohei Ohtani, man. I mean, he's pretty much been on the list every month so far, and it's hard to not take him out. Over 1,100 OPS, 12 home runs, 24 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 26 Ks, only 20 walks. I mean, he was almost like a 1-for-1 ratio, which is insane. So shout out to my guy Ohtani. And then lastly is Jose Ramirez. I mean, you got to give credit to this guy. I mean, 298 average, just under 1,000 OPS and 900, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs. He's actually stolen 7 stolen bases too, which is crazy. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely putting the team on his back, along with some other Cleveland Guardians. And then, as always, do a couple honorable mentions. And so we got to give a shout out to Anthony Santander, CJ Abrams, and Jackson Merrill, man. Especially Jackson Merrill, he's a stud. He's a rookie. He deserves to be the front runner, in my opinion, to be a rookie. So we'll see, what transpires for the remainder of this year. But shout out to them, and they definitely deserve again some kudos. All right, guys, we're going into the pitchers now, and I gotta say, got some studs out there. There's a lot of guys out there that just know how to throw the ball and pitch. So first guy we're going to talk about is Logan Gilbert. 35 innings pitched, 1.51 ERA, 0.62 WHIP, only 1 walk in that, and 31 strikeouts. I mean, he is very, very efficient and just making strikes and not walking guys. I mean, that's going to hurt you, right, as any pitcher. Next guy here, I mean, this guy has definitely turned it around this month. Hunter Brown, 31 innings pitched, 36 Ks, 8 walks, which isn't too bad. He's got a 1.16 ERA with a 0.94 WHIP. I mean, the dude has, and really the Astros needed it. The Astros haven't had consistent pitching at all, and so to have him produce the way he produced this past month, it's really put them in the position to fight for a wild card or potentially division later on. Next guy, and he's getting a lot of buzz lately with the trade rumors. And just Garrett Crochet, a 1.91 ERA, a 0.93 WHIP, 56 strikeouts and 6 walks. I mean, that's insane. 56 strikeouts and 37.2 innings pitched. That's right there is why people want him and why, essentially, given White Sox positions, why they're willing to give him up. They know that they can get a good return for this guy. Next guy is Tobias Myers, man. Shout out to the Brewers. He has been looking real nice this past month. 31 innings pitched, 1.44 ERA, a 0.89 WHIP, 24 Ks, and 8 walks. Very efficient, and yeah, he's been very stellar, and this is a very underrated guy. I don't think if you're a non-Brewers fan, you probably don't know him. So, um, so shout out to Tobias. Next is George Kirby, Mr. Logan's teammate. 31 innings pitched, a 1.74 ERA, a WHIP of .84, 31 strikeouts, 3 walks. Very efficient, like his teammate, and I mean that's the reason why the Mariners are in the top of the division. They have 2 studs at the top of their rotation. As always, honorable mention though, Christopher Sanchez from the Phillies, Gavin Stone from the Brewers, Brewers, from the Dodgers, and Paul Skeens from the Pirates. They all deserve recognition and kudos. I mean, they're all of them are all dogs, and there's more dudes out there. It's just obviously we like to kind of top 5 and give a couple honorable mentions. All right, guys. Lastly is the best teams, and then we'll go over to the storylines as well. So, first team out there we got to say for the month of June is the Astros. They were 17-8 in the month of June. Best record, obviously, in the month of June, and they needed it a lot. So, shout out to them, and we'll see what continues, right? Next is the Mets. They were 16-8 in the month of June. This was definitely something they needed as well, just to kind of get a morale booster or whatnot. I mean, they were looking bad to start the season, and so maybe this transpires and they can kind of get in a run to a potential a wild card spot, right? I don't think they're going to catch up to the Phillies, but we'll see. We will see, right? Next team is my Doyers, 16-10, and they just continue to be consistent. I mean, I really don't think they really reached their peak at all in any month in terms of the offense, in terms of the pitching. But I mean, they just collectively get it done. So, shout out to my guys, man, and looking forward to this to the end to the second half. Next team is the Red Sox. They were 15-10, and I mean they continue to be really consistent given their roster. I mean, what can they do when you don't have the studs compared to these other teams? So especially in their division, right? The Yankees and Orioles, it's really hard to win. But I mean, they're the best third place division team in the game of baseball, in my opinion. And that doesn't even really make sense, but they deserve love. And then lastly, the Brewers, 16-11, continue the lead in the NL Central, and they had another good month to keep that lead. So shout out to the Brewers. All right, guys. Before we adjourn here, we got our storylines for July. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and let's get into it. So, will the Yankees lead after July? And so, if you recalled earlier, right, they were tied with the Orioles in the AL East, and I mean that's really the question I have. I lean towards no. I just think that the Orioles are going to. They're just. I feel more confident with them than the Yankees right now, given what's going on. I mean, it seems like the Yankees have been on a bit of a rut the last couple weeks. All right, next storyline. What are the Braves going to do, right? So they have a good sample size, 31 games in. They were 17-16, right? Since the injury of Acuna. I think we all kind of knew this after the injury right away, but they certainly need to make adjustments. In-house, out, like making trades, signings, or whatnot. But I would anticipate they're going to make moves. I'm very excited to see what they do. And then lastly is can the Pirates make a wild card push? And I'd say yes, especially if they make a move in the in the trade market, right? You get a bat. Find a bat out there that, like a Luis Robert, let's just say for example, right? If they can give the not Guardians, wow, the White Sox a good package, they can make a deal, right? I mean, they need to find another bat. Their OPS and just batting stats are very very down, bad basically. They're only 3 games back. 3 games back from the NL wildcard spot. So I think they can. I hope they can because they have 3 stud pitchers. They got Mitch Keller, they got Paul Skeens, and they got Jared Jones. And you know how I feel about my guy Paul Skeens. But those other 2 guys, they are studs. And so yeah, I really hope the Pirates and can make a move. That would be really cool to see. The Pirates fans, they deserve they deserve some playoff baseball in my opinion. So, all right, guys, this will end it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and let me know in the comment section what you think about your MLB team. Peace.